Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking around. It means a lot that you guys keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. And who else did you guys expect me to talk about? Tori's absolutely outrageous, and I actually like it. I think she's going to be like an Angelina 2.0, which doesn't necessarily serve her game right, but it definitely serves our screens right. Making public speeches both at tribal and in camp, having an extremely sharp tongue, and frequently using her Jedi mind trick therapy tricks to embarrass others. She's by far the most polarizing player after one episode, garnering a fan base both for her and against her. And I think that her and Meehan are definitely our big characters for this season. She's for sure what production was hoping for when they casted Sydney from 41, a girl who's gotten whatever she's wanted her whole life because of her good looks and upbringing. And I like it. I think it's good for the show. I mean, not everyone has to come from from nothing, from some small Kenyan village. And it's actually more fun to have people who come from money who are acting outrageous, so us poor people can make fun of them. So let's look at all of Tori from episode 1, which is surprisingly a lot, and break down where she went wrong, right, and crazy. And before we start, I'm going to put up a picture of the Ika tribe with their names, because I know a percentage of my audience may not know the cast members as well because they aren't watching the season and are relying solely on these recaps to stay up to date. So we first get introduced to Tori after the marooning and first challenge when Ika arrives at camp. And we are immediately shown Tori talking with Swati and joking about the pronunciation of both of their names. We're then shown her building the shelter with Zach and Swati, where she talks about her job as a therapist being helpful for getting people to trust her very, very quickly. She tells the other players in the game that she's a caregiver and explains in her confessional that she needs to adapt to the current situation in this game. And we see an example of this with her and Swati and Zach talking about Star Wars and other nerdy things. And Tori acts like she's really, really interested in this stuff because it's interesting to these two quote-unquote nerdy people. And now to Tori, this comes across as genuine, but to someone watching, especially after seeing her confessional, it's pretty obvious that she's being disingenuous. Although to her credit, it seems like it worked on these guys, at least to an extent. After we see this, Tori goes off and looks for an idol, basically. And she tells us in confessional that her silly tribe mates have no idea and think that she's out looking for food. Ha ha ha. We then cut directly to camp where people start to ask where Tori is. Zach is spearheading this whole where's Tori movement and kind of eggs on the others to verbally agree that, yeah, she has been gone like a really, really long time and is probably looking for an idol. Specifically, we see Romeo, but slightly more actively Drea, falling victim to this egging on by Zach, with Drea agreeing with Zach. And when Zach says that there's only one thing to look for on Survivor, alluding to the fact that Tori is looking for an idol, with Drea agreeing with Zach when Zach says that there's only one thing to be out looking for on Survivor, and that's the idol. In this quick moment, it seems like everyone wants to vote out Tori because of this, although nobody verbally says it out loud, and that's a smart decision by them because the show immediately cuts to Zach telling Tori that Drea was spreading the idol rumor around about her, which is a lie, as we just saw that Zach actually did that. But Tori believes him and acknowledges her beginner's mistake of going off for a long period of time early in a Survivor season. She doesn't overreact to the Drea thing, and as we'll see later, she has a plan to deal with this. After losing the immunity challenge, the Ika tribe gets back to camp, and immediately Tori exclaims to everyone that she wasn't looking for an idol, and so that shouldn't be a reason to vote her out, and that she heard Drea was the one saying this to people. She pulls Drea to the side for a private convo, and I have to say, Tori handles this interaction absolutely exceptional. Okay, so one, she lets Drea start, which asserts, Tori as the dominant person and puts Drea in a spot where she's already flustered and looking for words and trying to explain herself. Tori comforts Drea and says that she believes Drea and that it really wasn't that big of a deal. And she also says that she believes that Drea wasn't the only one spreading the rumor and that it just overall isn't something to get mad over. 3, she says that she's on the same page with Drea as far as targeting Roxroy. And 4, she does all of this but without ever throwing Zach, the other big target on this tribe, and the person who lied to her under the bus, which helps her successfully paint Zach as an asshole later when he comes after her at tribal to save himself. So for something that could have gone very, very wrong in so many different ways, Tori's able to perfectly execute this plan of hers. We then see the power duo in Roxroy and Swati want Zach out, and Drea goes with them because Drea's unsure as to whether or not she had lost her vote at Shipwell On or not. And although we don't see it on camera, after seeing the final vote, I'm assuming that these three then go and tell Tori, along with Romeo, that the vote is Zach. We then go to Tribal, where Zach tries to come after Tori because he feels that he's on the hot seat. But Zach thinks that Drea told Tori about his lie when Drea and Tori had their little personal and private chat. So he feels like things are more out in the open than they actually are, causing him to try and call out Tori, which Tori then visibly switches into like aggressive mode and does a great job of making Zach look like an attacker rather than what he is, which is just a desperate player in the game. She does this by first pointing out that those who are wondering where she went had malicious intent when pointing out her absence and were only simply doing it to get a target on somebody else. This, along with other points of hers that I just don't remember, get Zach so good that he doesn't even try to respond and just quiets down after. Zach uses his shot in the dark and it doesn't work, although I will say if it did, then all 5 votes on him would have been canceled out, and I'm guessing they would have voted again, but with Zach immune this time, where I do think Tori might have gone home, so iffy. But nonetheless, that's Tori, the first episode. Obviously a fantastic casting choice by CBS and a very polarizing Angelina type personality, although I do have to say much better player than Angelina, which makes me actually like Tori more because I can legitimately root for Tori since Tori has a real shot to win the game, unlike Angelina in David vs. Goliath. But do you personally hate Tori? Do you like Tori? Let me know in the comments. More videos should be coming out soon. Again, daily content should continue with the podcast on the weekend and the live show after every single episode, so make sure you guys check that out. As I always say, none of this happens without you guys. Without you guys, I'm just a weird guy speaking into a weird microphone, so as always, thank you. And if that's what I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.
My first season was David vs. Goliath.
Well, you picked a good season to start, though.
Yeah, well,
I actually thought this was going to be David vs. Goliath, too, until I saw you were on my tribe.
When I first saw him, I thought, hippie.
Yeah.
He's a hippie.
Yeah. I said Rasta Man.
That's right.
Yeah, I love it.
He had the comfy clothes. He had the
What's the point of wearing those tight clothes? I can't handle that. No, I can't handle it.
Jonathan's so great. Like, honestly, like, besides the fact of just seeing, like, pure muscle, I just really like him. I feel like I vibe with him well. And Jonathan is so strong. He's an ox. Like, honestly, like, whatever you would imagine Thor being strong of, I would equate to how strong he is. Like, he just does everything, and he's so tall. I mean, he's a huge asset. Jonathan definitely is a key piece for us. I think we all cohesively are really great, but in terms of having that advantage edge, he's our advantage edge. So I think he's like the heart of our tribe right now. I love our tribe.
It's a good tribe.